All right, let's see. Darrell Green. The usually super liberal Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals has recently made a couple of rulings favorable to the Second Amendment. How did that happen? Well, my first thought, Darrell, is that a stop clock is right twice a day. I have to tell you, I've heard this. I don't know what the rulings are. I can't give you an intelligent answer about it. I don't think they're changing. And yet, I was talking a minute ago about this idea that maybe we've passed peak progressivism, that it's going to continue to get worse before it gets better, but it's we've reached the seventh wave of the seventh wave. The high water mark is reached. It's just starting to ebb now. I found, to my amazement, at Freedom Fest a couple weeks ago in Las Vegas, I was talking about the game project, and still waiting for that video, by the way. Known miscreant. The person who shot it immediately went on one of these conservative cruises, and they got 24 baud dial-up on the ship, and so she can't upload the video for me. I'll get it probably around August 1st. But at Freedom Fest, after I talked about this idea of the video games and so on, I had a young guy come up to me and say, for the life of me, I cannot believe, if I remember, I'm virtually positive it was Facebook. It was Facebook or YouTube, one of those, but I'm virtually sure it was Facebook. And this guy came up to me and said, who you ought to talk about? You ought to talk to this? Who you ought to talk to about this? I said, who? He said, Facebook. I said, you don't have to be, you don't need to be cruel, man. If you don't like what I have to say, just tell me. No, he said, no, Facebook is looking for conservative content because they're so stung by these criticisms of them suppressing conservative content. Now, I don't know if that's true. I believe that this guy believed it. He works for Facebook. He says, I'm surrounded by liberals all the time. But this is what they're saying, that they have to do something to square it out. If that is true, it's undoubtedly a financial consideration and nothing to do with the morality of being fair or letting two ideas go at it unencumbered. But that doesn't mean it's not happening. It might be happening. It might be that the financial pressures and the criticism and all the rest of it are getting people seriously thinking about leaving Facebook. And so it's possible. I mentioned the Facebook thing because if the Ninth Circuit Court makes a favorable ruling, it's possible that people have had enough and that this walkaway movement is real, that there's really something there. Now, again, if we had half a brain, meaning the Republican Party or conservatives in general, it's like trying to herd cats. But what we really ought to do is we ought to start a walkaway movement from the Republican Party. And then we ought to talk to the people who are in the walkaway movement from the Democratic Party. And if you were to start a movement where people of goodwill and common sense were just walking away from both the Republicans and the Democrats, then you would have the ability to create a political party with a platform that 80% of Americans would vote for. Wouldn't be one of these 51-49 elections. It'd be 80-20. And this would be the time to do it. But, sometimes I see things that seem clear to me and there's not anything I can do about them, but that's the way it goes.